Hi, my name is Shivani Hao and I'm the spiritual director and head teacher and co-founder of Ishtadev Niwas ashram and farm in the beautiful Kootenay, East Kootenays and the Tunaha territory in the Purcell Mountain foothills, about an hour above the US border, above the panhandle of Idaho. Anyway, we were asked, how do we teach asana, which is means to sit, but it's the physical posture of hatha yoga here at the ashram. And the basis from which we teach asana is to be able to share it in a way that people can find the medicine in the posture. You don't have to be a contortionist, you don't have to be the most flexible person in the world, but the key is to find the flow in the koshas from the mind to the emotions and to the breath, which is the pranamaya kosha, to annamaya kosha, which is the physical form. And I find a lot of people, especially in the West, because that's where we are, that they have their mind is on their body. Their mind is on what their body's doing. And there's this disconnect from the manamaya kosha of the mind to annamaya kosha of the physical body. And really the medicine is in reconnecting these threads through the pranamaya kosha, through the emotions, through the breath, and getting the mind to witness the breath and the breath to move the body. And so this is a huge aspect of how we teach asana here. And what that allows people to do, along with the understanding of which chakra is stimulated with each asana, is that their mind witnessing the breath and the breath moving the body allows the prana in the body to be stimulated in a way that allows the medicine of that chakra to be activated by moving our bodies in specific mudras or forms or mandalas. So this is how we do it here. It's really fun and it's empowering because the skills and the tools you learn for your practice here, you can take to any class anywhere in the world because it's an internal awareness of how you're moving your body, why you're moving your body, what is the prana doing as you move your body. It becomes a conversation with your soul, and therefore it becomes, your asana practice becomes a prayer. It becomes a prayer of acknowledgement and of listening and of intention and of listening, and that's healing for people. And so we teach very simple asana here. We're not we don't teach a lot of contortions, we don't teach a lot of one-handed handstands, and we really get people to rewire their awareness of their soul's experience through the mind, through the breath, the emotions, and how that creates a physical reality on the mat and off the mat. So here we go. So I'm here with Liz, who is one of our students here at the ashram. Thank you for being our willing demonstrator.
My pleasure.
Just so people don't think that, you've been working with me for 15 years and blah, 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 blah. How long have we known each other?
About 6 months, I think.
Maybe? Yeah. And how long have you been coming to the ashram for classes? Because our boys go to school together, so we've known each other longer than she's been coming to class.
I think I've come to less than 10 classes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what seeing as that less than 10 classes is very short, what is your experience of how we share asana here to your other experiences? Because you are a trained yoga teacher, right? You have done your 200-hour
Yes.
teacher training, right? So how is what we do here different, and why are you here? What is it about here that you like?
So the main difference I found is that there's so much more spirit added and more thorough understanding of what is happening in asana. Okay, so the main difference I feel in my practice and my experience here is that you get really a wholesome picture of what the asana is. So you understand how the energy is flowing through your body and the importance of it not being blocked, and how your physical manifestation can allow more flow of energy in your body. So it's not just about stretching ligaments or muscles, or like it's really about reconnecting to yourself, feeling where you have blockages, feeling how to open up so that the energy flows better, the prana. Like I call it energy just because of my background, but how the prana is
flowing.
Is flowing or not flowing in your body, and you bring that, like by helping me move and change a posture, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it. Versus before, what I've learned in the past, it's much more of just an image, right? Like it's not going in and feeling what is happening.
Letting it birth from the inside out.
Exactly. It's more it was more outside in.
Right.
While now I'm more understanding the inside part.
Because every asana is a mudra. It's a three-dimensional form of frequency. And so when we put our bodies into specific alignments, even if we're not very flexible, I mean, I'm not a particularly physically flexible person. And when we put our bodies into certain alignments, our body becomes the container for a frequency. And then every asana becomes like a note on the piano, like every frequency gets played. And so then a vinyas becomes like a symphony, because you're moving from one frequency of one chakra, and you're bringing the prana up to another frequency of another chakra. You're bringing it through your hands, through your fingertips, in another way to stimulate the heart. And understanding how the posture and the psychology of the chakras, especially in terms of gyandriya, of how the information comes into the body and into the chakra, and how the karmendriya, how the energy comes out of that chakra through the body. When these three things, the gyandriya, the point of the chakra, and the karmendriya, or all have awareness when you're doing a posture, then the medicine lights up and the body is fueled into a specific frequency, and then any crustaceans that are encasing your light in that posture can start to be gently shifted by the breath. The breath evolves the posture. And so this is where I get really excited when people start to not only see within themselves, but they start to see it in other people, because we can all light up. Yeah? So let's try an asana or two.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're going to practice Ardha Chandasana in its lunge form, okay, because there is also another Ardha Chandasana that we practice, but this one is in the lunge, and the chakra that it is the medicine for is Svadhisthana, which is great because today we are working with the Svadhisthana chakra for the chakra immersion, okay? So, remembering that when we're in transition, whether it's on the mat or off the mat, that we're always looking for this point of yoga, okay? So we're always looking, whether it's in transition or in the actual posture, that we're looking for the point beyond dualism. For example, if something's going up, if you're aware of your arms going up, you also need to have a simultaneous awareness of something coming down, okay? If something is moving forward, you want to have a simultaneous awareness of something moving back. Okay, and when the mind is balanced between these two energies, because we do live in a dualistic world, we do have that to take into consideration. And when we give the tools for the mind to take that into consideration, then our awareness can start being aware of what is between, what is beyond the dualism, right? And that's where the medicine is, that's where the yoga is, that's why we're practicing yoga, right? So, I would like you to come up to standing at the front of your mat. And we're going to do this from the position of the Chandra Namaskar. So feet hip width apart. Okay? And I'd like to see your outside line of your feet a little bit more parallel. So turn your toes in ever so slightly. And the reason for that is that if her toes are and ever so slightly so that the outside line of the feet are parallel, then the tendency for the spiral of the inner thighs is going to become inwards. And what that does is it creates the external rotation of the sit bones so that the lower belly can have the emotional integrity of drawing up and the tailbone can have the space to anchor and groundedness. So awareness on your big toes, the patellas on your knees, rising just a little bit, inward spiral of the thighs, widening of the sit bones, engaging the lower belly, and letting the tailbone anchor. Not pull down, not tuck, but just feel yourself here, feel your foundation, okay? Then bring your hands to your heart, okay? I'd like you to, what I call getting humble, where you look at your belly button so that you can have a kidney spiral, because the kidneys are very much connected to anxiety and fear in the body, and we want to let our kidneys be lean into the divine. So if you think of the front of your body as the personality and the back of your body as the divine, and your humanness is in between these two things. So when we're practicing asana, we're always aware of what our personality is doing, and we're always aware of whether or not we're leaning into the divine, or if we're full ego going forward, or if we're like totally have no integrity, we're just all the way back there and we have like no personal accountability, right? So when you're looking at your belly button, bring your kidneys back just ever so slightly. So bring the lower belly up and then look at your belly button. So your kidneys, your center of gravity actually is going to come back just a little bit here. There you go. Now from there, light the heart up, lengthen the back of the ears, soften the tongue, right? Soften your jaw, soften the tongue, right? Now your throat is directly connected with the uterus and with Swadhisthana chakra. So Vishuddhi chakra and Swadhisthana chakra have a connection. So if there's any tension in the throat, tension in the jaw, then I'm going to be looking for what is happening in the hips. So if there's an overextension in the throat and the neck, then I'm going to look at what is happening in the integrity of the lower belly. So I'd like just to bring a little bit more integrity to the lower belly and then soften the tongue. Okay, now from there, now did you see how our little finger moved? Because the energy actually started coming up into the heart. Did you feel that? Mm-hmm. Right? Beautiful. So from here, we're going to rise the moon. So fire up your fingertips like you're holding Ma Luna in between your hands. And inhale, sweep it up from the floor, all the way up. Place her in the sky, and then sit down in Utkatasana, sitting chair posture. Right? Then inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart, and then transition forward. So heart forward with an equal awareness of the sit bones going back. So there's poise at every point. Fingertips to the floor. Inhale, halfway up, looking forward, shoulder blades integrated, and exhale, left leg back. And left leg back, because we're doing this from a Chandra Namaskar, we want to make the movement with the lunar energy first. So see how she's beautifully here has created a transition with poise, where her awareness of her heart moving forward and her gaze looking forward, the eyes connected to Manipura chakra, allowed her leg to go back so slowly that she was poised at every point. Can you do it Gumby for me? All right, step forward. All right, come halfway up. All right, now lunge back how you used to. Right, see how there's all this input, there's all this energy going back. She could never stop at any point, right? Because she's going back, right? Step forward again. Now do it Gumby and look down this time, because this is where a lot of people go. Whoo! It's not got to fall off. All right, now come back again. Now, come forward with the heart, shoulder blades integrated, looking forward, left heel to buttock. Inhale, exhale, stretch your leg back, heart forward, heart forward, heart forward, and place. And there's beauty. Yeah? Mm-hmm. How did that feel?
So different.
So different?
Yeah, that's forceful.
Lovely. All right, so bring your back knee to the floor, and then bring your hands to the heart. So in this Ardha Chandasana, it's when our arms are extended above our heads, okay? And what happens is, because when our arms are extended above our heads, we have a tendency to lift our arms up and we really crunch our shoulders into our ears. Now, if this is a Swadhisthana posture, then we want the throat to be as open as the hips, so that the medicine in the hips and in the uterus and in the sexual energies can be balanced, can be healed, can be lit up, right? So we're going to be really looking at what's happening. So without any prompting from me, just inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, come into a back bend. And then inhale, come up, and exhale down. And how did that feel? Where was your awareness?
On my back, probably.
What was
But
it?
there wasn't much awareness. I
No?
was just
Doing.
doing.
Okay, so you've just seen the before and after photos
Mm-hmm.
of what we did. We call it Gumby, which is like just first attempt, just doing the posture, yeah, and then feeling the prana and letting the posture evolve, yeah. So what was your experience of that?
So when you asked me to just do it, it just felt as if I was doing any kind of action, you know, like versus when you showed me the picture of the after and my experience during is your verbal cues. It was all of a sudden I had that aha moment of, oh, okay, I am surrendering. And it felt like a totally different experience.
Beautiful. So we saw in the after photo that like clear evolution, and that's what we're looking for, right? We're not looking for perfection. Okay, we're not interested in perfection. I'm looking for evolution because none of us are perfect, right? We all have karmas and samskaras moving through our bodies, sitting in our bodies, waiting to come out of our bodies. You know, like we have this whole experience. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for awareness and we're looking for evolution. Okay, so in even the after photo, which was clearly like just so far back, like really beautiful, but you could see that there's still an opportunity for evolving
Absolutely.
even within the kidney area, right? So, but then you asked me, well, is the kidney loop just the pelvic tilt, right? And no, you see, in our bodies, now this is kind of a little bit more advanced than I was hoping to do today, but that's okay. That's where we are. In our bodies, we have two different dimensions of functionality. Okay, we have a third dimensional functionality and we have a fifth dimensional functionality. And the divide in our bodies between these two dimensions is the diaphragm, is the lower ribs. And we connect that to the kidneys. Okay, so when people are doing asana, even if they've got like really good foundation, right? If their lower ribs are constantly poking out, right? There's a split in prana. The prana can't go from the bottom of the body into the top of the body, right? Because it gets stuck in the lower ribs, yeah? So when we have a kidney loop, and we have a humbling, you know, when we get humble and we let the kidneys lean back into the divine, then all the core energy that is the life force that comes up from the earth can actually come up into the heart and then up through the back of the ears, so that we are functioning as a multidimensional being, not as a being that has lost its connection from one part of itself. And this is part of being embodied, like literally embodied as a human being, not a third dimensional being that wants a spiritual experience, right? But that is a fully embodied human, right? The light hue man. If man was created in the image of God, right? Then to be a human, right, is to live in the light of God, to be an embodiment of the light of God, not God, right? And but not God itself. Like you're not God,
Mm-hmm.
and yet God is in you, right? There's a difference, right? And the difference is perspective, right? So we all have a spark of divinity, and it is our duty, it's our dharma to embody that light of the divine in our human experience. And this connection in our ribcage is really important for letting the personality come into balance with our relationship to the divine. Okay?
So it's like if when we're in an improper position, it's blocked, it's closed off, and then when you reach that proper positioning, the prana
flows all the way up.
Okay.
Yeah. And when it's blocked, it's because our egos, our personalities are all like, hey, how's it going, right? And there's no awareness of the back body, there's no awareness of the divine, right? And when we are living to our fullest potential, we are living not because we've got rid of the personality. It's not because we've got rid of the ego. We don't want to get rid of the ego. You need the ego to be embodied. And you want the ego to be in right relationship. And when it's in right relationship, it is completely balanced with the surrender to the divine will, right? And so it shines, but it's not it shining. It's the shining of the divine coming through it. And that's because we are equally forward and equally back. We are here, now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So can you feel that in your body? Yeah, and then from there, light your heart. And then light your back of your ears like Spock. And then soften your tongue and drop your chin a little bit, otherwise your neck goes too far back. Yeah, so bring your back of the neck up. Soften the tongue more. Almost. You're dropping your head back. Yeah, bring your just head to a neutral. Yeah, there you go. Use your breath. Witness the breath. Let the breath evolve the body. Soften the tongue so that the hips can soften. Soften your skin so that the heart can be receptive. And let your face come forward just a little bit. Be seen. Just a little bit. Now drop the chin again, lengthen the back of the ears. Soften the tongue. When I say drop the chin, you drop it all the way down. Bring it. Yeah, don't go down there. There you go. Lift up a little bit. Yeah, there. You feel that come up the back of the neck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you are. All the way from the tailbone, all the way up. And then you lean back when you get into that Manipura kidney area. And then you let the light heart, the light of the heart fire up, and then it comes up through the back of the neck and up through the back of the ears, and then the tongue can just soften because there's nothing else to do but breathe. There's nothing else to do but be and to absorb, to integrate. Allow the pranas to bring you into greatness. Beautiful. How does that feel? Different?
That's great.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Alright. Una.
Namaste.